Hey everyone, welcome back to another Legacy Nintendo Direct reaction. Although this one isn't technically a Nintendo Direct. This is the January Nintendo Switch presentation. One of the only live shows Nintendo's done since like 2016 E3? 15 E3? It's been a while.
16. E3 2016.
Well, 2016 was the year they had the Breath of the Wild treehouse. I think that's all they had, right?
Yeah, that was it. That's the only live element to that.
Yeah. Well, let's just start playing now, actually. We'll do a little countdown, because there's another countdown in a moment. So when you guys are ready, we'll do 3, 2, 1, play. There's a 60-second countdown.
Lights.
But how much do you remember about this presentation, Daniel?
Oh gosh, I'm running blank on this presentation for sure. It's such a weird thing to go back to something like this. I have no recollection of those things we saw other than like the very basic stuff, since this was like the first time we actually saw anything on the Nintendo Switch proper.
Yeah, because it was announced in, was it October or late to September? Either way, we went around 3 or 4 months with nothing, and this was just like the big blowout of Switch.
Yeah, this was October. The October prior is when we saw the Switch for the first time.
That's right.
And I remember because this was referred to by my PR rep for Nintendo at the time as Switchmas. Like, they were like, hey, we'll get back to you after Switchmas. And the only thing I remember from this is the Suda bit. Like, that's the chaos of
the translator got so... Oh, no, I got an ad. Oh, no.
Me too.
Oh,
do we all...
Man, this definitely has vibes that you wouldn't see from Nintendo already, with like the thumping techno
strobe
music.
lights.
Like a festival right now. Jeez.
Yeah. Everyone in the audience is just completely straight-faced, though, while they're being smacked in the face with
No,
lights.
there's lights.
Yeah, they knew they had a killer logo.
They were showing that off.
So funny to see like this kind of energy from Nintendo with this.
Yeah. And then just straight down to very casual energy.
Good old Kimishima. I kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
Mr. K.
And thank you to everyone viewing the presentation live online.
This one was at, I think it was 3 a.m. in the UK, this ad. And so I bookmarked it because I didn't want to stay up all night. Bookmarked it so I didn't see any spoilers. Then immediately opened my web browser, went to that bookmark and watched the entire thing. So I was trying to stay clear of any headlines.
This video introduced the Nintendo Switch console, Nintendo Switch dock, Joy-Con grip.
We didn't know if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was a thing at this point, because we saw it in the trailer for like 2 seconds. And,
that's true.
They had King Boo in that trailer and 2 item slots, so that was enough to go on, but it wasn't like a raw confirmation there.
But it is also a system you can bring with you to share the fun wherever you go.
It's so funny to think about the fact that despite it having been a very short teaser, we still learned more about it than we did from the Switch 2 reveal.
Far more, yeah. I remember Bethesda said that Skyrim hadn't been announced. they showed it in the trailer. They're like, oh, we haven't actually announced Skyrim for Switch yet.
Yeah, it was way more important that they reveal the concept of what is Switch with this one than the Switch 2. Like,
yeah.
At this point, we know what the Switch is, but they really had to sell it in a very short trailer previously.
Suggested retail price and online services.
I forgot they opened with the price. That's kind of
Nintendo Switch
the ballsy one.
will release simultaneously on March 3rd, 2017 in Japan, the US, Canada, major
Boy,
European
the fun
countries,
bit for me
Hong
was
Kong,
that I actually
and
watched
other
this
territories.
while waiting in New York to preview the system. I was already
This is the suggested
like
retail
in
price for
another
Nintendo
part of the
Switch.
country.
In Japan, it will be 29,900.
Do you remember the raw reactions to the price? They weren't positive.
Oh boy, you know, I
North
don't
America.
remember.
Really?
I thought it was
$299
absolutely
and
reasonable. I was
99
super
cents.
hyped, but I admittedly was just with a group of friends and we were all
For the price in
excited.
Europe,
Yeah.
please check.
There were some odd reactions after this presentation, because I was really excited. They went online and saw this doom and gloom. But again, Nintendo consoles have never been this expensive before. Like, Wii U was cheaper. Wii was like
With
budget.
Nintendo
Guess was
Switch,
budget.
You will of course be able to enjoy.
It's true. Wii was
online
$249 in the States, I believe.
And when you use a smart device
The
application
online
that will
service that
connect
went
to
for
Nintendo
Oh,
free
boy.
for a very extended
You will
amount
be
of
able
time
to
for
invite
It's
us.
free for like a
friends to play
year, right?
online,
A year and a half.
set play appointments,
Mm-hmm.
and chat with friends while enjoying online matches and compatible
I
games.
remember being excited
all
for this
from your
until I
smart
actually
device.
used it. Chat with
Users will be able to
friends.
try out Nintendo Switch online services for free during a trial period after launch. Then it will become a paid
To be fair,
service
I think that was
beginning
a
in the fall of
wise move on
2017.
Nintendo's part, though. Like, knowing that they had
We'll
really
provide
failed with
additional
online,
details on
offering
this
it for
paid
free for a
service and
while
its features
Yeah.
was a good
on
way
our
to get people to
homepage
try it
at
at
a later
all.
date.
And they've got like 40 million subscribers to NSO
I have
now.
an
Like
additional piece of
it's not like the best service in the
So.
world, but
With our
they
past
clearly made a big
systems,
success
like
out of it.
Nintendo 3DS and Wii U,
And this was a big
we've
deal
designed
region
it
locking.
using
I love that this was in the
Yes.
which
presentation.
limited play to software sold in the same region that the hardware was purchased.
I'm glad that Nintendo leaned on
But
on their model
with
for
Nintendo
portable
Switch,
consoles
we have
instead of
revised our
proper
approach
home
Yeah.
and
consoles.
decided that in general we will not
Even
apply regional
3DS had
to
region
Nintendo
locking though,
Switch
which was weird.
It was.
Yeah, because GBA and
Here,
DS didn't.
I would like to switch over to the man responsible for all software development for Nintendo Switch and mobile applications,
Koizumi.
Mr. Shinya Takahashi.
Oh no, Takahashi.
I know.
My bad.
I know. You know what? Now that you mention it, that's the other bit I remember from this
Yeah.
presentation is Koizumi doing magic tricks.
Good afternoon, everyone.
He was like a
I am
magician in
Shinya
this, wasn't he?
Takahashi, and I lead all Nintendo software development. Nintendo Switch has inherited DNA from each of the many hardware systems Nintendo has released to date. The Nintendo Entertainment System included 2 controllers in the base system.
I remember hoping at this
Game Boy
moment
made
that
it
they were going to
possible to
do
bring video
like
games
virtual
out of the
console
home.
for Switch.
Super NES added the X and Y buttons and the L and R buttons to enhance the fun.
To enhance the fun.
Nintendo 64 offered the world's first analog control stick.
That's not true. Saturn beat you to market with the
Introduced
analog
a
stick.
rumbling controller with the development of the Rumble Pack. We put a
They're like,
handle on
GameCube
Nintendo GameCube.
did
so
some-
it,
Put a handle on it.
even at that time, we were
GameCube had a
system
handle.
It's like,
taken
a handle?
It seems we were a
Just
little
wait till we
too
put a
slow.
handle on the Switch.
Nintendo DS
Aw.
had a touchscreen.
That's really the biggest selling point for the
With the
GameCube was a
Wii
handle.
remote, motion control became possible.
They could have put analog triggers, but they're like, let's just talk about the
Wii U
handle.
gamepad enabled you to play games off the TV.
That's the same thing as portable.
And now?
You can't use that point again.
Nintendo Switch has
Oh, that's a bad
inherited
slide.
all
That is
of
a bad
Nintendo's
slide.
entertainment
Oh,
DNA,
wow.
Oh my
and we have
God.
packed
I never
each
realized how
and every one of
chaotic
these
that
features
was.
into the system. Nintendo is constantly
You got any
pursuing
more of them
new forms of
PNGs?
entertainment to bring more fun and more smiles to the world. And the new entertainment we will present in 2017 is Nintendo Switch.
This itself is an interesting layout. Like,
Look at that beautiful render of the Switch.
That was like our second glimpse of Breath of the Wild footage on Switch, just for a few seconds there.
Nintendo Switch is a video game system.
You know, looking
full of
back on it, Nintendo has been using this style of showing off
You
products
connect
ever
it to the TV
since.
to
Yeah.
play games.
they love their
Just kind of
3D
your
renders.
controllers
floating
float.
renders.
Play away from the TV, you just remove Nintendo Switch from the dock.
Close up of control sticks and buttons.
It's so weird looking at the original Switch with the huge bezel. I'm too used to the
When you
OLED.
touch the left and right Joy-Con
Yeah.
controllers, you can
It's like, look at all that real estate you're missing out on.
Nintendo Switch has been designed to be a home console gaming system that gives you the freedom to change your playstyle.
We were just like,
It's funny
"Stop
watching
moving, I'm trying to look
this."
at Zelda.
Right. This still looks cool though. Like seeing it, I still get excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I want one of those.
Next, allow me to introduce the playstyles Nintendo Switch will offer. TV mode.
We're like, oh, it's Mario Kart, it's Mario Kart.
Play games on
Yeah,
the
this
TV
is
in
again like
typical
a
video game
really,
style.
one of our first proper looks at this game.
Yeah.
Tabletop mode.
And back in
Slam
the
the
like
Nintendo
when this
Switch
was first
console up
revealed, it
with its
was like a
kickstand
huge thing to
and
see
play
like
using
the
the
latest
Joy-Con.
console Mario Kart just running on a
You can now
tablet.
play video games in front of a screen with others, wherever you like.
Yeah, and
Away
if
from the TV.
I remember reading somewhere a long time ago
Handheld
that
mode.
Mario Kart was basically the first game they
Attach the left
tested
and
on the
right
Switch.
Joy-Con
Like,
to the
that makes
they're
system.
like, yeah, Mario
You
Kart.
can take it with you. And
That's
play
probably in Wii U
indoors,
panic mode. They're like,
outdoors,
quickly,
or
let's just take
anywhere you
their
like.
best-selling game, put it on the next thing.
And what What do you think of handing
Yep.
a Joy-Con to a friend or family member and
And
sharing
Mario
the
Kart
joy
was like
right then and
the
there?
ideal showcase for two like individual Joy-Con.
No,
Battery
absolutely.
life will vary
It checked
by
a lot of
game,
boxes. Like it's also
range
just
from
one of the
2.5
nicest looking
hours to
Switch
6.5
Wii U
hours.
games
Yeah,
of that
still looks good.
generation.
Oh yeah, even today I've talked a lot about how the Wii or how Mario Kart 8 is like the ideal showcase game for the Switch because it just shows you what the console's capable of in a way that everybody understands.
So those beta icons.
Oh.
Oh wow,
Just
they
a
just look
giant
like
Mario.
such
You-
apps.
USB Type-C was a big deal too. So we had those proprietary Nintendo plugs, and the Wii U had to be like plugged into the wall to charge that tablet.
Can be connected for
Yep.
Yeah.
wireless multiplayer gaming.
This
Being
could
able
have
to
been
charge
better.
your-
Local wireless could have been better.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
absolutely. I remember playing Splatoon
What do you
2 and being
think?
frustrated by it.
With its
Yeah.
3 play styles, Nintendo Switch evolves gameplay,
So what did you
making
think?
it more active and
So,
offering
what'd you
greater
think?
freedom of play. And what makes this possible are the Joy-Con controllers. To tell you more about the new types of play that Joy-Con will enable, and to tell you about
Here's our
Nintendo Switch
magician
software,
friend.
I'd like to switch things over to general
Oh,
development
yeah.
producer.
I remember
Yoshiaki
him doing one of
Thank you
these
very
and he
much.
was like holding the Joy-Con.
Look at him.
Hello, everyone. I am Nintendo Switch General Development Producer Yoshiaki Koizumi. It's great to be here. Controllers are very important when it comes to video games, right?
Yeah.
And I suspect all
I
of you
agree.
are wondering what the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con are like. Allow me to introduce them to you in detail.
I haven't used the
These
Joy-Con
are the
grip in a
Joy-Con
long
set
time.
in the Joy-Con grip. This is the basic style when
Yeah.
playing on the TV.
I remember
Weird.
thinking it was very cool when it first came out and then being like,
Now,
still
let me
feels
remove
weird.
the
Yeah.
Joy-Con.
I'm very much Joy-Con for handheld, and then Pro Controller for TV.
These are the
Yeah,
Joy-Con.
that's pretty much how I do it too. Anytime I traveled with my Switch, I would bring a Pro Controller in case I wanted to do tabletop
There
mode.
is a left.
But
and
if
a
I
right
if it's in my hands, Joy-Con's fine. But
Each Joy-Con
I will
has an
generally have a
analog
controller
stick,
with me if it's not being actually held.
and each stick
I don't really
can
bring a
also
Pro
be
Controller
pressed
with
like
me.
a
I
button.
do like split Joy-Con for tabletop.
This Joy-Con has the familiar A,
I'll do that if I'm
B,
being
X,
really
Y
lazy and I
buttons.
don't want to find
And
my
beneath
Pro
them is the
Controller.
home button. It's this house-shaped mark. There is an NFC reader writer that can read and write Amiibo data as well.
There's the amiibo.
There he is.
Still coming back to
Please look at
Switch
the square
2.
button on this Joy-Con. This is the capture button for capturing screenshots of your gameplay.
This was cool too.
Yeah.
In the future, it will be able to
Honestly,
capture
it
video as
still
well.
has the best implementation of like clip
able to
and
share the screens you capture
screenshot
with
capture
friends
of any
over
system
It-
on the
It
market
does.
now.
You clip a screenshot on PlayStation. It's not instant. You gotta wait a few seconds
And
for it to actually
each
appear.
Joy-Con includes
Yeah, and on
accelerometer
Xbox it takes like a
gyro
few
gotta-
minutes
making
sometimes.
Yeah.
independent Left and right motion control.
Yeah,
like
tell it
this
is going to be a screenshot. It's going to be a video clip.
Yeah.
Well, it does have different video clip length options on PS5 at
Take a
least.
look right
Yeah,
here.
that's true. You're stuck to 30 seconds on Switch.
There are 2 buttons in the rail that connects the Joy-Con to the Nintendo Switch console. These are L and R buttons. Because of this design, each Joy-Con can be used
Even if
as
it
a
is really
fully
small,
functioning
like it's too
individual
small for some
controller.
people's hands, it is well optimized how much they
You can
use and
hand a
get out of
Joy-Con
one
to the
single
person next
Joy-Con.
to you
Yeah,
in
for sure.
Mini
There's a
to
ton
play your
packed in
games.
there.
We
Oh
call
yeah,
this
Joy-Con are
sharing
super
the joy.
impressive technology. I just wish
So,
they weren't as
Nintendo
expensive
Switch
as they
comes
ended
with
up
2
being.
controllers
It's like
Yeah.
right from the
$70 for a pair of them.
And when you play with these Joy-Con, they fit in the palm of your hand just right.
Yeah, that's a good
like
question,
this.
John. Do they sell
very
in the
natural.
UK individual Joy-Con, or do you have to buy them in pairs like we do? Because in Japan they sell them by themselves if you like.
For example,
I think it's just in pairs. Yeah.
you can release
I-
the
It's
tension
only
from
Japan,
your
though.
shoulders
When Amelia
and
was born, I
relax
definitely
while you
played the
play.
Switch like that. When she was just like a little baby, I could hold like a Joy-Con in each
That's
hand and
all
play
for
like
my
Puyo
Joy-Con
Puyo while
introduction.
holding her. I got
Oh,
another
yeah.
ad! My God!
Sure about
Right,
the
magic
Joy-Con.
show.
Here comes the magic. He's ready to pull Mario out of that cloth.
He's like, "Ah,"
We
and
have
I
prepared
actually
Joy-Con
forgot he
color
went full magic
variations
show with
in
these
neon
things.
blue and neon red.
This is the first time we saw the neon controllers. They're pushing the grey ones before this, and these kind of became the default ones.
Yep, and I did not like these when I first saw them.
Same.
And this is the Joy-Con strap.
I thought they were goofy, and
why
and
are they
then
different
uh,
colors?
Strap you can slide
yeah,
onto the rail
exactly
like
right.
this.
I was like, oh, I don't like how asymmetrical they are.
And it
And
has prominent L and R buttons for firm pressing.
I do really like the
It's great for
Joy-Con
games
strap
that
even
have you
now. I
swinging
think
your
it makes
hands,
the
attaching to your
individual
wrist so you
Joy-Con a
won't
lot
drop
easier
it.
to use.
And it makes the
I don't use
Joy-Con
them
easier
much.
to
I use them for Skyward Sword, though, because it's just really comfortable to have for the right stick for the camera.
Oh, I remember being very worried about this bit.
This is the type that will come
I was
with
like,
the
Nintendo, you don't
Switch
need to
system.
lean into a
There are
gimmick
also
this
other
time,
colors
just
sold
stop.
separately. The right Joy-Con also
forgot
has
all
a
the different
motion
colors
IR
for
camera
those.
that can sense the
I never
shape,
had the
motion, and distance
red and
of
blue rail.
objects in front of it.
I have an
Actually,
absurd amount of those
For
things.
example,
And they
you can
use
tell the
this in
difference
brain
between
training,
rock,
rock,
paper,
paper,
and
scissors.
And it can tell how far away the hand that threw
Oh,
it
the
is.
the
This will
least
make
used
unique
feature
new
of the
It
Switch
would
right here.
only get used in like a dozen other games by
What's this?
this point.
It feels like something shaking in a
Oh, here are the
glass.
ice cubes.
This to me was a
Joy-Con
really
can
cool
convey to
idea.
you the feeling
I
of ice cubes
remember
colliding in a
using
cup.
it in 1-2 Switch and being like, "Oh, this is neat," and then no other game really made proper use of it ever again.
I guess the
Now
Switch
it's in-
Lite kind of
can
handicapped
even
that
tell.
because it doesn't have Rumble, so developers
One.
just didn't really use it.
2.
Yeah, and a lot of developers
number
just
of ice
used
cubes
it
in the glass.
as straight up like normal Rumble, and so it
Yeah.
was
And
Sometimes
kind
worse
of
than that. Like
off-putting.
sometimes it's like a 90s cell phone where it's just a big buzz.
this new
Buzz,
sense of
yeah.
realism is produced by the precision.
But I think this is all part of why I wasn't like worried at all about the $300 price tag, because it's like you get so much stuff packed into this thing. It's a motion controller, it's a handheld, it's got ice cubes in.
With these new sensing and vibration
You go to
technologies,
space with it.
the Joy-Con
Exactly.
Yeah,
Wait,
a lot-
how,
you get a lot
how
for
have
your
we
price.
not
Right for
seen
the
this
player
become a
to
meme?
pick up the
Yeah.
Koizumi in
feels like it
space
should
holding a
be.
Joy-Con.
The Joy-Con offers more than just traditional video game controls.
They went hard with this segment
It
here.
invites everyone to a new world of entertainment. Allow me to introduce you to
Maybe
two
we'll
new
send
games
Koizumi
made
to space
possible
with
by
the upcoming
Joy-Con.
Switch 2
One
presentation.
that everyone can play together, and one with depth, challenge, and replayability.
Did they show ARMS or 1-2 Switch
First,
first? I
let's
feel like it's
switch to
1-2
the game
Switch.
everyone
I feel like it
can
has to be
together.
1-2 Switch with this kind of focus, but I
Yeah.
can't remember. But it would be very weird to start with 1-2 Switch.
It is.
knowing how that played out.
This was the first game
Yeah.
Yep.
that they properly showed.
We're like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Howdy, partner. Yeah, I remember being a little bit worried seeing this as like the first thing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Nintendo, what are you doing?
Now with Joy-Con, you can shoot a man.
I liked ball count in 1-2 Switch. That's like the big
Yes.
HD Rumble game. You can actually,
Yeah.
it's pretty convincing. You feel the balls just kind of rummaging around in there.
It makes me wonder what's going to be like if we're going to have a Switch 2 showcase game as well,
Yeah.
equivalent to 1-2 Switch.
2-1
Or
Switch.
like even in Nintendo Land for Wii U.
Yeah.
That's a good question because I wonder what that would even be. Like, what would show off the unique features of Switch 2? But I guess we won't know.
Mario
Something that
Paint
uses the mouse.
2.
Half a second. Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then I got this.
Yeah.
yep. God, it's hard to believe. My daughter was 4 when they debuted this. I'm like, she loves her Switch now.
It's
It's
crazy.
the
Yeah.
milking
Person
one.
now.
It is crazy thinking about your life 8 years ago. Like, where were you when this aired?
Yeah. It was very different back then.
I remember actually like seeing the trailer and being like, it could be neat, and then playing it and being like, all right then.
Hello, everyone. I am Koichi Kawamoto, the producer of 1-2 Switch. I am also
Where are you
general
now,
hardware
Koichi?
director for Nintendo Switch itself. One to Switch
Oh,
lets you
how did I not realize he
enjoy
was the
the
general?
expressiveness of
This is a name
Joy-Con
that just kind of
Rumble
disappeared
that
into
was
the
just
ether
introduced,
over the years. Like, I don't think anybody mentions this guy.
but at the
And
same
I'm sure
time,
he's doing something really
it's a brand new
important.
kind of game.
Probably.
One that mixes up new kinds of play that haven't been seen before.
Like everybody wants to Switch.
Your typical video game has you playing while looking at some kind of screen.
It's
right?
Nintendo Land.
I do miss the era of
But
Nintendo
One to Switch
putting
can be
people
played
in
without
ridiculously
looking at any
clean
screen.
living rooms to
With no wires.
So then, where exactly
yeah,
do you
no
look
wires anywhere.
There's no
in the
wires in the
eyes of your
future.
opponent?
I remember I once in the Wii U era they showed
Look
off one of those
directly into the eyes of your
super fine
opponent
living
to play
rooms, and I was
the
like, I really like that TV stand they have, and it was like $9,000. I was like,
move.
oh, so a normal
How will
family
they
home.
move?
Got it.
Are they just faking? You look into their eyes to read their next move, and then you get to see them do
They
something
definitely showed One to
unexpected.
Switch for too long.
Yeah.
In other words, One to Switch.
Nintendo
isn't a
wanted to be
game
like, oh,
that
you can
faces
still do
the
Wii
screen.
stuff with this, and they
It's a
learned very
game that
quickly
is
people didn't want to do
primarily
Wii stuff
played
with the
through face-to-face
Switch.
interaction.
You were ready to move on
So you can
from
bring
that.
Nintendo Switch to parties and after
Oh,
parties, indoors or outdoors.
Oh,
But the
boy.
house
Place
parties, though.
together Or meet, and you simply 1. Stand Nintendo Switch up. 2. Grab the 2 Joy-Con.
And that's why it's called One to Switch.
Hand one to a friend. And just like that, with these 3
4.
steps,
Fight your friend
the
for
place you're
real.
in becomes the game world, and everyone is ready for fun.
I can confidently say I never saw
We're
anybody doing
creating One to
this.
Switch to be a staple
You were
for
never at a
parties
park and
to
watching
become
two
an
people
icebreaker
do
for
have a
all
magic
kinds of
duel
fun
with each
people.
other.
Yeah, I was
with
like,
the
oh, they're
Joy-Con.
definitely 1-2 switching.
Oh
out
my
there.
god, there's another one.
Everyone, third
There goes
one.
our first launch title.
Please look forward to it. Thank you very much.
That was 1-2 Switch.
All right, Magician
The game
Koizumi
everyone
is
can
back.
Play together. Next, let's look at a game with depth, challenge, and replayability that uses the Joy-Con. A new gameplay experience.
He's
is
like,
born.
next, let's look at
switch to
literally
it.
any other game.
I can see why some people were feeling a bit like, after seeing One to Switch and then directly with this. But
This is how I remember that's how it started.
Yeah. I remember ARMS looking really good though. And this probably wasn't the best way to introduce it, but
Yeah, I forgot about this, like this live action trailer.
I was very concerned once you actually saw the arms. It was very jarring.
Being an actor on one of these must have been very weird.
yeah. Okay, so you're a businessman and you're about to beat up this schoolgirl, okay? With your magic arms. Or maybe you're her father. I'm not sure what role he has.
It feels a bit weird, right?
Yeah.
Like throw an exaggerated punch at a girl.
Like, I don't know what was with Nintendo being very serious in their lead up and then showing the game off and it's just very silly.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like, we better switch to CG characters before these land. I remember being pretty intrigued by this, but not super sold on it. This trailer is anime as heck, though.
I don't think any like punches really land in this clip. Everyone's just missing. Which isn't a good way to show the game
No,
off.
fighting game filled with a bunch of whiffs. Does anyone get hit?
I don't think so.
I remember being worried that they were really doubling down on kind of Wii style gameplay at this point.
Yeah. There you go, first hit.
Look at the grabbing.
Like ARMS is pretty good with motion controls, but I'm pretty sure most people play it with just a regular controller.
Yeah, I think that Nintendo, you can get finer control with motion controls, but I don't know anybody who really plays that way.
Yeah.
Would have been better for them to just focus on making it more of a core fighting game.
That could have been a way
Hello,
better
everyone.
trailer. This guy rocks though.
I'm Kosuke Ibuki. I'm the producer of the Nintendo Switch
He was
game,
he's like big
Arms.
passionate for arms. In any tournament he was there, just
Today-
bigging arms up.
I'd
Yep.
like to introduce you all
I
to
remember
Arms.
seeing him presiding over,
Arms.
gosh, I want to say it was
fighting
E3
sports
2018,
game uses
like a tournament for
extendable
arms, or maybe
arms
even
to
17.
One of those two, yeah.
It's like boxing,
Yeah.
where you hit your opponent with punches.
Yeah, I remember he fought the winner
It's also like
and
That's
almost beat him.
Right, yeah.
at distant opponents. To play Arms, you hold one Joy-Con in each hand. In a
This
thumbs-up
game
pose.
did well enough, but deserved even better than it got. It was,
The
I think it
Joy-Con
sold
senses
something
your
like
motions.
1.5 million. Or
I think
even
it was
2
3 million it
copies.
sold.
Your character
Oh, was
also
it
punches.
really?
When you
Sold
twist your
more
fist,
than any Metroid game, more
your
than
punch curves.
well, I think not quite as much as the best-selling Fire Emblem, but not far off.
You move your character by tilting the
It
Joy-Con.
did benefit from like being a launch title. People wanted
Right,
to just
launch
play
window.
games on the Switch, made for a
You
Switch.
can perform
Yeah.
a variety of actions. Because Arms uses physical controls, anyone can pick it up and play right away. But we've made it so that as you play more, you'll uncover high-level techniques and strategies.
Yeah, this is not the best way to show this game off.
No, no. Let's see how many hits will land in this match.
Here are some of the characters who appear in the game. Springman and Ribbon Girl.
Oh, there were some hits.
So now they're playing. Got some hits in,
very
but
fast
still,
and active
I remember watching this and
fighting
thinking
game.
like there are a lot of whiffs happening.
Trading
Like, is it
punches back and
more
forth.
just about positioning, or I was trying to understand the
You can garden this
concept of
game.
it.
But
Yeah, Arms is really good about
right now.
taking kind of the core of what makes 2D fighters excellent and translating it to a 3D space. Like,
here, Springman is on
you
the
know,
ropes.
in 2D fighters you whiff all the time,
But here's
right?
Springman with a
But
special attack.
this one kind of is all about managing your
Oh,
distance and
Springman won.
picking your attacks. And it's hard to
As you
communicate it.
saw,
Like everyone's a zoner
the most
in this
appealing
one.
part of Arms
Yep.
I remember there being a lot of concern, being like, oh, you know,
battle
with
alone
Wii we
against the
got
computer.
like 5 sports games in one. This is just
can
Wii
play
Sports
split
Boxing.
screen
This is
against
just
a friend,
Punch Out. So
as you
have you
just saw.
played either of those games?
This is not Punch Out.
also bring your Nintendo Switch systems together to battle.
There's nothing I hate more than people comparing arms to
And of
Punch Out.
course,
They
we're
have
preparing
nothing in
online
common
battles as well.
apart from boxing.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that there are
extendable
gloves
arm
on
fighting
hands.
To release this spring. Thank you very much.
If I remember correctly, that was the first game that got
Arms
like
marks the emergence
kind of
of
special
Nintendo's
edition
newest
Joy-Con as well. They
characters.
released like neon yellow
Oh.
ones.
Master
Yeah,
Control
you're right.
of controls
That's true.
Can bring a new feel to even head-to-head fighting games that demand a high
From
level
here
of
on, I'm pretty sure
strategy
it's
and
all killer from Nintendo, and then there's some weird third-party stuff.
Next, let's switch to this.
Here we go.
Ah, Splatoon
there we
2. I was
go.
screaming at this one.
Yeah, I was excited when I
was-
saw Splatoon in the original trailer. They're like, "Oh my god, new hairstyles!"
Yeah.
Going crazy.
There were a lot of rumors before this that it was just a port of Splatoon 1, and then you see jewelries, you see new maps. It's clearly a new game.
And Splatoon is just, I mean, to me it's still one of Nintendo's best like IPs in recent memory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They've done so well with this.
And it was
that
a
whole
killer.
samey feeling. That samey feeling is kind of becoming a little more prevalent with Splatoon 3. So the next
Yeah.
one kind of has to shake things up. But with Splatoon 2, like this was totally its own thing on the Switch itself.
It was getting it off the Wii U as well, like putting it on a successful console. And it was
Yeah, I remember. Oh, go ahead.
it was an excellent like launch period game, and we had the beta, the online test, I think in April, like 1 month after the launch.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
I was
exciting.
gonna say, I remember playing the ever-loving heck out of this when it came out.
Yeah.
I was in the camp that I thought it was gonna be like a Splatoon 1 Deluxe or something, because it felt like too soon to release a whole new game. And
Yeah.
for the level of effort that went into Splatoon 2, it was just incredible that they turned it around so
I
quickly.
got another ad just as the splash screen came up. Speaking of guys who rock, this guy rocks.
There he is.
Yeah, I've gotten to interview Nogami a couple of times since Splatoon 2 came out, and he's just an all-around great guy.
Researching the mysterious squid creatures that can take on human form. I've been
Everyone-
I loved these.
Everyone in this presentation is just coming onto the stage in these suits where he's just in a lab coat with guns.
Ready to shoot someone.
2 years since I first discovered the squid, and it seems there have been many changes.
Just commitment to
squid
the
world
bit.
in that time. Turf War is their 4-on-4 team-based.
Was this where they
battles
changed
where
the
two
translator?
teams
'Cause this is a new guy
sprayed the
now,
ground
isn't it?
with ink and covered the most turf.
I think so,
This
yeah.
remains a
And he
popular
struggles
sport,
more than the last
but it
guy.
appears the battle stages have changed, and the fashions and weapons used have also evolved. Here, you see the latest
I remember when
piece of
Suda 51
technology.
comes out, the
This
translator
website
struggles
is
big
called
time.
the
He's
Splat
like,
Release.
I'm
Oh,
making
yeah.
a new game
Not
with
only
Travis,
can
and
you
I
wield
don't
the
want to show
weapons,
you.
but shoot ink from each hand. They also have nozzles that can propel you at a high rate of speed to outmaneuver your opponents. It is a fearsome weapon in the
Yeah, I
hands of
think
one who has
Suda
mastered
went
it.
on, like, later on,
It
revealed
appears
that he just went
the special
completely off
weapons
script.
can be
Like,
activated after spraying enough ground with
he had
ink.
given them notes on what he was going to say and then just chose not to say any of
Usually with the
it.
introduction of new weapons,
Poor
all new
translator.
special weapons,
Yeah.
and new battle stages, we will see the emergence of new battle strategies. I expect our research will continue to keep us busy.
If I remember correctly, next is
Allow me to
Odyssey,
report
I
briefly on
think.
controls. Of course, you can use the Joy-Con controllers, but you can also play using the Pro controller. You can play on a TV
Was that the
screen,
first Pro Controller
and you
mention
can
of this
also play
Yes.
in
show?
handheld.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, in either mode, you can use gyro controls to aim your ink.
Yeah, and confirmation that the Pro controller had gyro in it for the first time.
Which Wii U didn't. The Wii U Pro Controller
And
was
to do
just a
super
basic
jump,
little
you press the
plastic thing.
button assigned to a teammate to instantly
You had to
jump
tie a
ahead.
Wii remote around the Wii U Pro Controller.
Of
Yep.
course, you can battle
I remember that
against
was somehow the
people you don't
official
know over
solution.
the
It's like, what the hell?
And you can also bring your games and Nintendo Switch systems together to battle friends face to face. That is all from the Squid Research Lab. Oh, I almost forgot something very important. Splatoon 2. It is planned for launch this summer. And again, this time
It's so
the
funny
release
because,
date
I mean,
and weapon
Nogami is being
updates
very
are on.
dynamic in how
There are
he's
also
talking,
plans
but
Yeah.
the presenter
got-
makes it sound like
in-game events.
just the
I'm-
most stilted
I'm
delivery.
reading notes from a paper.
I am very excited to
He's like,
once
I almost
again
forgot.
enjoy those
Splatoon
exciting
2
times
will
with
be coming
everyone all
this
around the
summer.
world. Splatoon 2. Still has many elements that we have yet to uncover. The Squid Research
I love
Lab
that man. He
continues
should
to
be
share
protected at all
details
He
costs.
should, he
discovered.
should.
Thank you for your time today.
I want to see him make a 4 out of his body.
What squid do you think? This brand new version of Splatoon arrives this summer. It should make for some hot matches. Next, let's switch to this.
This shot here was
Oh,
us
here we
freaking
go.
out.
It's hard to believe we had this year. Like,
Yeah.
all these
you
games
could
that
see-
ended up coming out.
You
Oh,
get
man,
just
see
enough to
the-
know it's Mario with the question mark block in the background.
Yeah, you see the street names after the Kongs
Yeah.
from this shot too.
But this was
It's one of
crazy
them.
though. It was like Mario with real people. It was like Sonic Adventure.
Yep. This to me had elements to it of the very first Sunshine trailer, which, regardless of how I feel about Sunshine, that first trailer was hype.
And we're coming off 3D World, which like we love it now, but back then it didn't feel like it was exploring the Wii U, and now we're just jumping around a city. We're going to this huge open area here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and visually it's just stunning.
Serena.
Still looks great today.
Yeah. Just felt like an adventure, which Mario hadn't really done in a long time.
Yeah, I think it would be really hard to overrate Odyssey. Odyssey
Yeah.
is such a fantastic
And-
game, and seeing this kind of just Oh, my hype was through the roof for this.
The coolest part about this trailer too is it doesn't even show the gimmick of the game. There's no captures.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just shows you going to vastly different areas.
Which in
different art styles.
hindsight, I don't know how I didn't question the hell out of the hat ship. Like,
Everyone has a hat on in this trailer.
So I think he throws his hat at some point, but he never captures anyone. Bowser looking.
oh yeah,
dapper.
Bowser throws his
Oh,
hat.
snap.
Yeah, like this is
Oh,
what we
there
think the
you go.
gimmick is. That's all we think it is. You can just jump off your hat.
You just throw it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Jaggy. I love those so much. It's amazing how much of this game they showed and that it still wouldn't release till October.
Yeah.
It was very clearly in an extremely polished state for a game that was 9 months away.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just pacing it out.
Yeah, they really didn't do anything with the cab until they showed until they started that trailer with the T-Rex, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
And we're just like, oh, that's a Mario game.
Oh, got another ad. Why am I getting all the ads? Oh, the hat's alive.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It has eyes.
You know, I just realized that we had that official logo treatment with the Mario M for like 10 seconds. I don't know that they ever released that version of the logo.
While I am
don't
the
think so.
overall producer for the Nintendo Switch hardware, I simultaneously have a hand in the newest Mario
Now I
game,
think I remember what
Super
came
Mario
after
Odyssey.
these
This is
ones.
the first time since Super Mario 64 and
Xenoblade
Super Mario
next,
Sunshine
right?
that we have created a large Mario sandbox world like this for you to run around in.
I'm pretty sure it's Xenoblade 2.
The theme of Mario this time is a journey to an
Yeah, I
unknown
think
world,
so.
and Mario has jumped out of the Mushroom Kingdom to go on an extraordinary adventure. I said unknown, but perhaps you notice some landscapes that look familiar from the real world.
No one
So funny
believes
to-
that.
to-
At the end of
Sorry,
the
you
video,
get?
perhaps some of
Oh
you
no, I was
notice
gonna say
some
he's
unusual
like, you've been to
eyes or
New
something
Donk
on
City
Mario.
before, right?
Oh, and right here.
No one believed that Xenoblade 2 would hit that year. They said it would come in 2017. They were like, no
mysterious
way,
app in
no
particular
way.
offers action
Xenoblade
that
games
can
always
only
come in
be
Japan
experienced
first.
on
They
Switch.
always take a ton of time to
This app character
localize.
plays an
It's
important
impossible.
role in Mario's journey.
And they did.
I hope you'll look forward to it. In the 20 years since we made Super Mario 64, I have been
So funny
on
to
a
see
long,
all these
long
shots
journey
and to
together
imagine
with Mario.
everyone analyzing every
And
bit
we
of
are
this to
working on
see
new journey
what they
called
can
Nintendo Switch.
what they can
The
assume from
excitement
this
one
game from
feels when
here.
visiting
Yeah.
unknown countries
If you look
for the very
closely,
first
that's Mario.
I'll be very happy when you can all join
Those
me in
triangles are
parting this
clearly
new Mario journey.
Doritos.
He's holding a turnip. They're gonna reference Super Mario Brothers 2.
in the holiday season later this year. Since the release is still a ways out, you won't be able to play the game today. So I hope to offer you a chance to try it out at another time.
Why not
So please wait
today?
a little longer.
Come on,
Thank you very
Koizumi.
much.
Just put it in my hands right now.
Yeah, this was Xenoblade.
Yep.
I do get why people got the impression it wouldn't come that year. Because what they show here doesn't look like it's ready.
It wasn't even in English yet.
Yeah. But they were far further than we thought they were. And the art style shift.
That is true.
The art style shift was radical too. Because like X was very dolly looking. The first one very blurry faces, and now they just went straight on anime. It looks good.
Yeah, I really appreciated the change in art style.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this and being like, oh, I can play this. I did not love the visual style of X. This to me almost felt like it would have been like a Bandai Namco game instead.
Well, they did show Mithra in this one.
Very briefly, yeah.
Yeah, this is the game that would solidify the art style going forward for Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Especially going back to like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and redoing it in this art style.
And
I think a lot of new fans emerged from this.
yeah. Seeing the 2 reveal here was crazy as well. That Xenoblade had to fight hard to even release in America. And then X didn't do very well. Well, relative to the Wii U, it did pretty well. But no one would have expected that a proper sequel would come and also that it would be like a year one game.
Yeah, this coming out as the capper to Switch's first year was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I got into Xenoblade proper.
Yeah, this is Fire Emblem time.
At least I don't think what else it could be, considering it was Koei Tecmo and his team.
I got this pretty much immediately, and then went back to watch reactions, and like throughout the entire thing, everyone's going, "Oh, what is it? What could it be? Is it Zelda? What is it?"
I will admit, I would not have gotten this back then.
This is how I got introduced to Musou games, with this game in particular.
Ooh, for me it was Zelda Musou. That was
Yeah, same.
Mwah.
They show nothing in this trailer though, right? There's like a
didn't- they
Crom
just-
tease in a moment, and that's it.
They showed
Yeah, I
very
think this is all they
little for
show.
they're like, who's the most popular
Yeah, that's it.
character right now? And then just show him just grabbing a sword. It's like, okay,
What you just saw
it's coming.
was
I
Xenoblade
loved that
Chronicles
game
2,
though. Fire Emblem Musou was
and
great.
Koei Tecmo's latest game,
God, it
Fire
could have
Emblem
been
Warriors.
so much better.
Next,
Yeah, it's
Looking
it's
back now.
plain, but it's good.
partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I
It was
didn't
cool.
have high
Such
expectations
concept
for
has
it.
resonated with many developers, and there are currently over 50
It's also one of the
companies
few Switch
working
games that
on
had
games.
like graphics and performance modes.
And
Yeah, that's
there
true.
are already over 80 games in development.
Is it Shimigami Tensei 5 next?
So today, we'd like to introduce just a few of them.
SMT5 was here,
Yeah.
and God, did it take forever to
Man.
come out.
Yeah, it took like
Square
what,
Enix
like
has
5
already
years,
announced that
6
they are
years?
preparing Dragon
We're
Quest
Yeah,
X
I mean, we reviewed it on GVG,
Dragon
which
Quest
did not
11
exist at the time.
for release on Nintendo Switch.
11 was
in
announced like a
Japan.
year before this. This was like the first NX game announced.
But there is another Dragon Quest game making an appearance.
Heroes.
Dragon Quest
We didn't get this in the
Heroes,
West.
yeah.
Oh,
Nintendo
Nope,
Switch.
Well-
this is I imported this.
Now take a look at this.
It's pretty good on Switch. I almost said on NX.
Yeah, this is
back to the
Shimigami
NX
Tensei.
days. Yeah, man. Considering Vengeance feels like it just came out
Yeah, Vengeance was like a few months ago, right?
It
last
was.
year.
Yeah.
Like not even a year ago now, I think.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get Metaphor announced in April for Switch 2, and then it'll take 5 years to show up.
Do you think they even started development? Because this feels like they just sort of slapped together some demons
No,
in
yeah,
a
this
room.
feels like a concept trailer.
Yeah.
It is funny though, because now that we have
Did they not
seen the
show-
final game, we can see if there's anything that actually matches.
Did they not show the character at least?
They just show
I
the
don't think
demons.
Or
they
the monsters?
No. Yeah.
Just like shadows of the. I mean, these are just monsters you already know from
Yeah.
like other Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games.
Yeah, this feels very concept trailery.
Yeah. It was a cool statement, though, because, like, SMT was pretty much a handheld series now, with 4 being on 3DS. So it was like, you get both console and handheld games on the Switch.
Wait,
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know for sure. That's just a normal.
It's just a
ass-
demon.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say. I'm not the world's biggest SMT fan, but I did play 5 all the way through, and I loved it. But oh yeah, see, they don't even have a title. It just says
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei series down there. So
Yeah. I think they confirmed it was 5 after the presentation. Oh, Octopath? Is this Octopath?
Squeenix.
Yeah.
yep.
I thought this was stunning the moment we
Wow.
saw it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still of the mind that everything should be HD 2D from Square Enix. Like remake every game like this.
Yeah. They definitely refined it. It's very overexposed in the first Octopath.
Yeah, the lighting is crazy in,
Yeah.
in this. It's so much contrast.
It's so funny though because at the time I remember having almost no criticisms of its visual stylings whatsoever.
yes,
I was just like,
projects.
wow, so cool.
Oh, yeah, it was
I wonder what
Project.
the real
wasn't
name's.
it?
I wonder what the real name's going to be when it releases.
They had a
What
demo
you
for
just
that
saw
in the first
was
year,
the
but I think
latest
it hit in
game the
2018.
Atlas series.
I think you might
Shin
be
Megami
right.
Tensei, which
Yeah.
celebrates its 25th anniversary this year.
I felt like one of the first games where they allowed us to like give our
But they were
critiques
kind enough
Yeah,
to
the
after
feedback
the
thing,
fact,
yeah.
today.
and they started to do that with like everything.
And the other title is a brand new RPG from Square Enix.
So I think we're now in the slow third-party bit where they promise
Its
that
world
they're
boasts
maybe
a
developing
unique
games.
graphic style and sense of scale. Please look forward to additional information in the future. Now, let's hear from some of the developers working on new games for Nintendo Switch. To start, let's switch over to this individual.
We didn't get Yakuza on Switch until he left Sega.
Sega sees a tremendous amount of appeal in Nintendo Switch, and we intend to be present on the platform. And similarly, I, as an individual,
I remember this man had a
sense
look.
new kind of appeal
Yeah.
with this game.
He didn't have a look when he made Monkey Ball. He had a look when he made Yakuza, though.
I was gonna say,
transitioned
like, if you
himself.
look at him pre-Yakuza, he looks like a completely different person. It's like making the games changed him.
Changes the man.
This new hardware is taking on new challenge and has a lot of appealing points. And I would like to take advantage of this new concept and create an interesting game. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Translate is struggling with these guys.
Thank you, Nagoshi-san.
I love that they just brought him out and he's like, I don't know, it seems cool. I'd like to make a game.
I had to fly all this way for this.
I had to be here.
Todd didn't know. Todd got to do a video.
That yes, Skyrim is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Did they announce the Link costume in this?
Oh, that's a good question.
I
We love to make
think.
games and worlds that you can get lost in, that you can make your own, and that you never want to put down.
I know they want to be like, hey, look, we're doing a Nintendo thing on a Nintendo console.
Well, now you don't have to. Now you can play Skyrim wherever you want and take it on your own adventures.
And this was cool at the time as well. And I know Skyrim's pretty old at this
Really
point, but
exciting is for
yeah,
all of us
having
at
something
Bluesky
this big on a
to find
handheld
new
felt nuts.
You look at all they've done for video
It was
games.
pre-leather jacket Todd
They've
Howard.
brought
Yeah.
innovation and fun.
It was before he had that Microsoft money.
They're doing it again. The Switch is both classically Nintendo, yet something all new. And we want to thank them for letting us be a part of it.
Oh, another ad. Can't believe I missed Todd's son.
To this person.
Oh, that didn't go very
There
well.
he
Everyone,
is.
I'm Suda51 from Grasshopper.
He's like, oh, that didn't land.
He just went silent.
Today,
He's
I'd
just
like
panicking.
To start, I've been invited to come to this event, and I'd like to talk about one of the games that I worked on.
Oh no.
Poor translator. You can hear his soul leaving his body.
Tag team between Marvelous and Grasshopper. That's right, Travis Touchdown. He'll be making his return on Nintendo Switch.
I did freak out hearing that, though.
Show the illustration, please.
Yes, I was super happy. Like, I thought this was No More Heroes 3 for a minute.
So this
Oh,
star
right,
will be
Travis Strikes
coming
Again.
onto Nintendo Switch. The title hasn't been decided
And
yet.
while I'll say that Travis Strikes Again ended up being kind of disappointing from a
just
fan
about a year ago.
perspective, every time I got to meet Suda and talk about the game with him, he had a different demo every time that was customized to wherever he was.
Yeah, there's like dialogue about like packs or dialogue about whatever other
Yeah.
show he was at.
the indie game community.
That was super cool.
And we've been discussing about ideas for the new Nintendo Switch console. And I've heard that it's an easier platform to create games for, especially for indie developers.
Like,
He's just
Suda's
dying
just kind of
inside.
rambling, and the guy's like, what is he
That's not
saying?
what we are
I remember
expecting.
Suda was asked once about that shirt he's wearing because it's very hard to find No More Heroes merch. And he's like, oh yeah, I just bought that off Etsy. Like, someone made it.
So this one game that I'm working on right now will be something that will take advantage of this environment, that it's easy for indie developers to create a game.
Did Suda say any of this?
We will have a game.
Started making things up.
I think the translation is mostly accurate, but it's this in the same way that, like, if you were scrambling to figure out what the dude was saying, you're gonna miss some stuff. But I think it's mostly on point.
Nintendo Switch. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy I made a logo for this man.
Thank you, Suda-san. Next, we switch to this guest.
It's a huge honor and
What
privilege
has
to be here
EA
today
done on the
to
Switch beyond
represent the
FIFA
passionate and talented team at our
and
Nintendo.
a few EA
To
original
be on this
games?
stage is like a dream come true.
Yeah, EA. I think years later came out and they were like, "Yeah, we missed the boat on the Switch." Whoops.
It's crazy that they didn't do the Sims until like those My Sims ports, but even that, like, I don't know why you did those and not
For as long as
like a
I've played games,
Sims 4
I've been a
console
massive
port.
fan of the Nintendo platform
Right?
and
I actually
culture
think
of
if they
creativity.
ported a Sims game
So
to
much
Switch
so
too, it
that
would do
when my
very well.
firstborn
It would do amazingly
son
well,
was
yeah.
born, my wife and I gave him the middle name Luigi.
初めてゲームを教わる時から
I forgot about that. They were just like, we named one of our kids Luigi. That's the extent of the support you're getting on the Switch.
どうにか
What are you up to these days, Bill
長
Trennan?
男が生まれた時にルイージっていうメルネームを名
He
付
used
け
to
ま
be
でもし
so
ました
visible in the
So today, we are
in the sphere,
extremely
but
excited
now-
to announce that the
It's weird
world's
seeing
most
Bill
popular
the reverse
sports
translate. He's
will be
translating
coming to
English to
Nintendo
Japanese
Switch
now.
later this year.
ですので本日の発表で大変興奮してます今年年内に全世界で一番人気のスポーツゲームが Nintendo Switch で発売します
EA Sports FIFA on Nintendo Switch will be the most immersive, social, authentic sports game ever created for Nintendo.
Oh man, I love these buzzwords.
It was they were like pitiful versions. With each one, they would literally just change the number and change the roster, and that was kind of
もっ
it.
ともソーシャルもっとも本格的なスポーツ
Like
大
they're
会
like
になってい
famously
ます
bad.
It will deliver the FIFA
Yeah,
experience
I think I've played
custom
one
built for
FIFA game
Nintendo
on Switch, but I'm not
so
a
you
big
can play anywhere,
soccer
with
slash
anyone,
football person, so I was just like,
want to play.
neat.
Yeah.
の体験をスイッチ専用に開発してそこでどこでも誰とでもどの
I mean,
プレイスタイル
FIFA,
でも
like if you're into it, it'd be a good like
You're at the
you know,
park,
just
at your
hand someone a
friend's
Joy-Con
house,
kind
or
of
on
game.
vacation. You can always stay connected.
Oh yeah, and there are
matches.
loads of
You'll
people
be
that are
able
into
to play
FIFA.
and
Like
get on the
it's
pitch with your favorite players
it's definitely one of those
in the
things
world's
where
best
I don't get it, but
iconic
I can't
stadiums
deny how
around the world.
popular it is.
All
The
with
only
unmatched
time
authenticity
any of my
and depth
accounts
that
have
FIFA
ever
is
been
known for.
hacked was somebody hacked my PSN and then used it to buy FIFA microtransactions.
そして全世界の一番大きなリーグの
Yeah, we're not in that sphere, but FIFA has a huge audience.
一緒にピッチに立って試合をす
We
る
got we got to become a FIFA channel now.
これらは全て FIFA の無比の
I think it makes sense to announce FIFA, but yeah, it's just funny in hindsight how EA really didn't do a whole lot
We'll have
on the
much more to
console
say
and
in the show in the
publicly,
coming months as we
you know,
bring the
acknowledged
world's
as much
game to
years
Nintendo
on.
Switch
I mean,
in
Wii U
2017.
didn't get any FIFAs as far as I
こ
can
れから
remember.
全世界のスポーツゲームを2017年内に Nintendo Switch に発売するまではどんどん情報を提供していきたいと思いますのでこれからもよろしくお願いしますどうもありがとうございました
Thank you very much to Patrick and all of our guests.
Oh, they've changed the translator back.
We are very excited.
Yeah,
Skyrim
like,
and
get out of the
FIFA.
Tagged
We're
in.
very excited to see what kind of new games
You're
Nagoshi-san
fired
and
already.
Suda-san create.
Just kidding.
I mean, this is the guy who
With
translates
that, I'd
over
like to
regular
bring my portion
joints.
of the presentation to an end. Thank you.
Sizzle reel time. I was the
Oh,
Sonic
Sonic.
Forces.
Oh, it's Sonic.
Oh, Sonic Forces, good God.
I remember there's a skiing game in this reel. What's it called? Like I forget the name, but it never came out. Steep was what it was called.
Right, Ubisoft's really bad skiing game.
Yeah, it never actually came out on Switch.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think that was more an indictment of the quality of the game.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm pretty sure I played it on PS4, and it was terrible.
There's some cool gets in here though, like Rayman Legends was there. We saw snippet clips a little bit.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is still getting DLC now.
Disgaea.
Oh, more Sonic
I'm
Forces.
Sentinel.
Just Dance.
Always just dance.
Oh, what was that game? The one where you flip the tiles.
Oh, Flip Wars. Flip
Wars. There we go. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Our first look at Ultra Street
Oh, there
Fighter
you
2. Important game.
I was very hyped for that.
Bomberman.
Yeah, Bomberman was a cool one. We hadn't like a proper Bomberman game in a while before this.
Minecraft.
Yeah, there's Steep.
Oh, there's Steep. Yeah.
Fast
And then
RMX.
Fast RMX.
Fast.
There's some good games in this.
Mario Kart, as you do.
And extreme jazz and saxophone.
Yeah.
Right. Like Saturday Night Live levels of saxophoning going on.
There were good games in that reel that probably should have been in the presentation.
As you just saw, we are preparing to offer a rich assortment of games, both from Nintendo and a number of third-party partners. Today, you heard from some of these developers, but there are still many others working hard inside Nintendo to develop original game content. In addition to the franchises our fans have loved, we will also introduce the world to new forms of entertainment.
There's nothing
made
more other
possible
than Zelda,
by the
right?
unique characteristics of the
Yeah, I don't
Nintendo
think
Switch
so. I don't
hardware
think there
and the
is.
Joy-Con
I remember
controllers.
there was like a little skit where they go like Miyamoto
Since we
and
revealed new
Aonuma,
colors
and
of
they go like,
Joy-Con
"Do you know
during
when
this
Zelda's coming
presentation,
out?" And they'll go, "I've no
allow me to
idea."
share
All right.
Nintendo's product configuration.
It's like a bit with Reggie of it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zelda's. I'm pretty sure Zelda's just at the very
Oh,
end.
right.
Right?
Isn't Reggie at the Nintendo store in New York in this?
That's
in this
right, yeah.
presentation?
So-
Nintendo Switch
And they go,
console.
"Well, don't ask me when
Yeah.
Zelda's coming out." And they just go back to the stage anyway and announce it on the stage.
He's just there to say, I don't know.
The Joy-Con grip,
Reggie's like, I told you when to release
The
it the last
Nintendo
time I
Switch
beat you
dock.
up, Shikaru.
an HDMI cable, and
It was very generous for them to give us an AC adapter because the 3DS stopped doing that at a certain point.
controller will also be available separately.
Oh, I remember being so happy to see what
There
the
will be
Pro
two
Controller
versions.
looked like properly.
One
I still
model
love the design of
with
it. I
Joy-Con
just wish they would have
controllers,
released more than
and another
one
model
color.
with one neon blue and one
There's a few
neon
special
red.
editions out there. I've got
Both
the
versions
Xenoblade 2 one
will
with
be
the pink
same
strip across it.
suggested retail price.
I wish I
that's
had
true,
that one.
yeah.
I still got the
That's
Tears of
the-
the Kingdom one, which I might go
We have
to
shared a
now.
great deal of information with
I
you
got the
through this
Splatoon
presentation.
ones and
More
the
details
Tears of
will
the
be
Kingdom
available
one.
on our
Those were the
Nintendo
only ones I
Switch
ever picked up.
homepage
There was a
after
Smash one
this
as well, wasn't there?
presentation ends.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hated
it was not very exciting at all. Just
But first, I would like to ask Nintendo of Europe and Nintendo of America to share their messages with their
That's
fans
us.
watching around the globe. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Kimishima.
I miss him. He was cool.
Who's the president of NOE now? I
don't
actually don't know.
I don't know either. They never show themselves.
I'm so excited for you to finally
Shibata was cool though. He'd like dress up as Layton and like Phoenix Wright for little skits every now and then.
as you saw today. And I
He did like a
look
Yoko
forward
Watch
to you
dance. I
all
remember that.
getting to try it out soon. Right now, hands-on events are being prepared.
Yeah, Reggie didn't really get goofy till near the end of his tenure with Nintendo, and then he did a bit more like fun,
Within the
goofy
next few
things.
hours, these events will kick off in Frankfurt.
Hey, this was just announced. This will be outdated by the time this video airs. On May 15th, Nintendo will open its doors to Nintendo San Francisco, its second official store in the United States.
Try it out.
Oh wow!
Coming months,
How about
I
that? Huh?
might have to
more of these
What?
events.
go to California and check it out.
Where you can have your own experience with
That sounds weird, but it's like it's an hour flight from here,
announcements on our official website
and that's right before my kid's
Twitter
birthday.
and Instagram accounts. I'm sure that I will join some of the events, so I hope to see you very soon. Now I will hand you over to Reggie in New York. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.
Ready to show off Nintendo
Hey,
Switch
no,
to
just
a
chilling
small
in the
group of
background.
markets. But you may get your own chance to play well
Play
before
testing.
launch, because Nintendo Switch will be on display on
Oh hey, I was
6
part of that
different
small
days
group.
in 6
For me, it was
different
tomorrow.
cities.
I didn't think about that.
You can find all the details on nintendo.com/switch. But you'll have to show up early. There's no shortage of players who can't wait to test drive our new system. And the reasons are now clear. First, the wider look we've just seen at what this revolutionary form of gaming and new ways to play are all about. Second, those amazing controllers.
I love the idea of Aonuma just
Combine all
Reggie's just
the
babbling and she's like, "I'm just playing Zelda. Just leave me alone."
that adds to them. But of course, course, the biggest buzz.
He's like, I'm playing the game I've been playing for years at this point.
No question, there's a lot in the works. But let's be honest. One thing is missing. But if you listen carefully, maybe you can hear it. Floating in the air. Yep, there it is. The soundtrack for what's been far and away the most anticipated Nintendo Switch game right from the start. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. So, where is
I'm
it?
getting hyped just thinking about it again.
Hearing that
I'm like
music.
watching it. I'm like, tell me more, Reggie.
I see some sneaky Nintendo employees have been.
It is somehow exciting. Just I mean, the trailer's awesome, but just the lead up to it's kind of pumping too. Oh, it was Miyamoto, not Aonuma. He is there as well somewhere.
You're playing the new Legend of Zelda game. How do you like it?
Imagine Miyamoto's like, it just sucks. Boo.
He's like, I didn't make it. This is trash. I'm starting a YouTube channel.
I did that thing on Jimmy Fallon too. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you think? He just gives him his thumbs down.
You're the producer for
He just comes out and attacks Reggie with a sword.
I'm the president of
Oh,
Nintendo of
Mr.
America
Aonuma,
now.
you stabbed me.
Why is there a big space on the with the don't?
Well, I guess that settles it. There's nothing left for me to do but to throw it back to Tokyo.
Some fonts do that for some weird reason. They're not optimized for. They're probably optimized fonts for Japanese and not English, so that does that sometimes.
Reggie-san,
All right,
Miyamoto-san,
let's get through this with
Naofuma-san,
no ads. If
thank
there's
you
an
very
ad in the middle
much.
of the trailer, I'm gonna end it all.
You've left me
Oh, I got an ad.
Oh no!
I'm
Okay.
gonna choke slam somebody before this is.
We do have one last thing to share with you today. Before we do, I would like to humbly and sincerely thank everyone here for listening and everyone around the world for tuning in.
Here we go.
Oh, what a trailer.
Yeah, time for the
Oh,
what's probably
baby.
the best trailer ever.
Yeah, Nintendo, I don't think has ever quite
is-
reached this height with any of their other game trailers since.
Tears of the Kingdom had
That-
some good ones,
that-
but not this level.
That one is the Kingdom trailer that introduced Ganondorf, his voice. That
Yeah.
got closest, I think, but this still
Yeah.
is at the top for me.
It's just the awe of this. Like before this, we'd only really seen the Great Plateau and a little bit from other trailers, but like the sheer variety and scope of the environments, and then just the how much they hit you with.
Koroks. Yeah,
It's like every element's something to get crazed about. Like seeing those Koroks there, seeing the Master Sword. Why is the Master Sword
Yeah.
look a bit weird? You know, there's so much.
This was the first trailer that really made me feel the way I saw when I saw like the first Ocarina of Time trailer.
I see like wild horses over there.
this shot.
Yeah. And the music's just like
Oh yeah.
it's so good.
It is. Video editors should aspire to this level of
Yeah.
hype inducing.
And the music was so good, they put in Smash Brothers for a trailer.
Hearing the voice acting the first time as well, like never really had that in a Zelda game.
Yeah, it really does a lot while revealing very little.
Yeah.
Like, which is impressive. Like you basically are shown that Zelda's going to be different forever after, just
Yeah.
from this one trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Breath of the Wild on Switch sold more units than the Switch hardware did somehow in its first month. Oh, how do I get an ad here? No. Oh.
Oh, they showed
They're showing us
they
they
showed
show
everything,
you.
man.
Yeah, they show you all the abilities. They show you elemental stuff.
And you see Calamity
Ganon.
Ganon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The towns.
The Guardians.
I was
I
like,
mean, you see the Deku Tree, which is just, in hindsight, it feels like a bunch of huge spoilers, but it really just goes to show just how huge of a game this is.
Yeah.
and you're like, what happened 100 years ago? What are you talking about?
It felt like Zelda was like just being taken seriously as the most important game on the console.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I don't, when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I really questioned which game was better, but it's Breath of the Wild.
It has
Like,
more impact.
It really, really is.
Man, yeah, Zelda's Japanese actress is phenomenal.
Yeah, she is.
I like the English one too. Patricia Summerset's good, but oh man,
Yeah,
all these
I think
shots.
she really fell into the role a bit more with Tears of the Kingdom, but
She did, yeah.
still. This was all before we had the idea, like, oh, these are all scenes in the past.
Yeah.
But still, that didn't take away the hype from it in this initial trailer.
Yeah, this trailer and the E3 trailer are just masterclasses in how you promote a game.
They are. There was so much riding on this. Like after the Wii U, Nintendo, they had no, easy win, and this was just like, how do you win them back? Just by selling them the best thing you possibly can. As a launch title.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the January presentation.
That
After
is amazing.
After this, I remember going online and seeing a lot of disappointment. A lot of people going like, why is the console so expensive? How come we don't know any launch titles other than 1-2 Switch and Breath of the Wild? And all that. But I was feeling so good about it. I was like, what? You guys are crazy. And there people were saying like, oh, it's another Wii U. This is going to bomb again. But then it came out 2 months later and a very, very different story.
Yeah, it's wild to think in hindsight that people were at all negative about the Switch. But I mean, IGN famously gave the console like a 7 or a
something
6
like
in their
that,
review.
yeah.
Like they were like, I don't know about this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to think about the fact that Nintendo clearly had such a hit on their hands. I was with you when I saw this. I was ready, money in hand. Like proverbially throwing money at my screen. Launching with a game of the caliber of Breath of the Wild obviously was the right move there, and they clearly had a lot in the tank for the Switch already. Odyssey was in a very, very polished state even in 9 months before release. ARMS was looking amazing. Mario Kart 8 was not soon after launch, like a month, or I don't remember how long, but
it wasn't too long after.
Yeah, but definitely there were people out there who were very skeptical, but it seemed like those skeptics went out and bought it.
Yeah.
So.
I think a big problem with this presentation is you get a few Nintendo big hitters. You barely get any third-party stuff, though. And also, there's just no lineup. Like we got a couple of dates in there, but we're 2 months from the system launching, which is pretty unprecedented for a console. Like usually we have a lineup like half a year before that. But we didn't even really know the launch lineup until like the final week of the system coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so weird because I remember, as somebody who was on the media side of the Switch 1 reveal and review process, when I went to Nintendo's January preview for the Switch 2, so like just a little bit after that presentation, I don't think it was literally like the next day, but within that same month, I went and played the Switch, and there were a lot of developers that were like, well, we're trying, like we might have a game at launch. We don't know. And it was very weird to try to cover games like that. But I think the issue was a lot of even big name developers didn't see the success of the Switch coming. Like they were just kind of like, oh, well, Wii U bombed, so maybe we'll make a game for the next Nintendo thing. And they realized within that first year that they were like, oh, okay, we might need to take this seriously.
People were scared about it, yeah.
There was a lot of that initial fatigue. The people were burned from the Wii U already, so they were like, oh, how is this going to be any better? That's probably why a lot of the reaction you see coming out of this presentation was just like, it's looks cool, but it just, I don't know, it might just be a fad for a little while and then it's slowly going to die out. But no, that's also probably why third party wasn't really relevant at this presentation, because a lot of them weren't sure if this was going to be something successful coming out of the era of the Wii U, which was a very different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you mentioned, as time went on, third-party titles were starting to come out more. There was a really good space for indies to flourish, especially in the first year.
That first year was indie heaven.
That helped a lot as well. Yeah.
Well, it's also interesting to note the kind of difference in tone between this and the Wii U. Like a lot of big third parties going from Wii to Wii U pledged their support immediately. Ubisoft showed off a lot of stuff for the Wii U.
Yeah.
some of which it ended up just outright canceling. I mean, they even teased like an Assassin's Creed kind of amiibo in the Wii U reveal, like their first Wii U video. They had like an Ezio figure that they tapped on the gamepad and implied that they were going to do stuff like that, which they didn't. But yeah, a lot of those huge like EA, Ubisoft, they all pledged support to the Wii U and got burned on that. And then they were notably pretty absent in this presentation.
Yeah. I mean, as a third party as well, like the Switch, it's more capable than the Wii U was, but this was in prime PlayStation 4, Xbox One time, and it's not as simple as just pressing the port button to switch. Like, you have to scale those games down a lot. So if you were to be a third party making games, you either make ones dedicated to the Switch, like Octopath Traveler, or you try your best to port it down, or don't do it at all. And I think most just chose not to do it at all. But even the Pokemon Company, I remember they expressed concern about the Switch. And that's why we didn't have a Pokemon game for a long time. And in that E3, the next E3, it was just the Pokemon Company CEO at his desk saying, like, we promise we are going to bring something to Switch. And then they announced Pokken, and that was kind of all they had. Because that year was like Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, but they hadn't started on Switch yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was very weird to see, like, in hindsight, the skepticism around the Switch seems silly, but at the time, in the context of what Nintendo had been doing and how they'd been performing up to that point, it made a lot of sense for a lot of companies to take a wait-and-see approach with whatever Nintendo was up to, because there were legitimate worries that Nintendo, if were the Switch to flop, that Nintendo would go third-party the way Sega did.
Yeah. But, I think it was a pretty good presentation first-party wise, though. And everything that they showed themselves came out that year. Octopath, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and No More Heroes 3 took a while. Octopath was like a year, but No More Heroes 3 and Shin Megami Tensei 5 took quite a long time to actually materialize. But, in the end, it was a good lineup. And I was pumped after this.
Oh, yeah. There was no... I was excited from minute one of that presentation back in 2017. Like I already knew after seeing that it was a hybrid console that I wanted it.
Yeah.
And just seeing the lineup that they showed off, I was like, well, these are all amazing games. Like I want all of these. I was surprised that they all actually hit their release targets. Aside from everything that had a release target from Nintendo actually released within the time frame they said it was going to. Not a single delay. And that was very impressive to me that at the time.
Yeah. Like Wii U went its whole life to get 3D Mario, 3D Zelda, Splatoon, Xenoblade, and Switch just got it all, in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many aspects of that it just helped push it in that first year. It gave it a strong start, and that's when people were starting to realize, like, oh yeah, this is going to be something that's going to stay. This is the concept of taking your console games with you anywhere that you want. It just started the trend of so many other companies that would follow doing a similar thing, and we got all these different kinds of like consoles that have followed that concept, and now we're at Switch 2, gonna try to innovate on itself. And this just has me really excited because we're just a couple of weeks from that presentation. Like, what are they going to show at that point? I'm really excited to see.
We're a very similar position. Like right now, we just know Mario Kart 9. There's so many unknowns, and that's kind of where we were with going into this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it reaches even half of the hype of this presentation, I will be a very happy Switch 2 owner.
Yeah. But I think that's it for now, though. The next reaction we're going to do is the first Switch Direct. And that's going to be really interesting as well, because once this system launched, we were still kind of in the unknown period of, like, what is next? We didn't really have release dates. So that Direct had a lot riding on it for the future of the Switch. So that's going to be a really interesting one to react to as well. But we'll do that most likely the next week.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I really want to revisit that one because I feel like the benefit of time is that you forget a lot of what happens in these, and then when you start seeing them, the memories come back. So I truly don't have a strong recollection of that first Direct.
Nor do I. All right, everyone. Well, we will see you next time for the very first Nintendo Switch Direct. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
We'll meet again.